So in order to change this from false to true, we need some kind of action. And most preferably, we should have a click as an event listener. And then, well, we are in React, so we can add this to a state. So first things first, let me actually drop this down here, make this larger and make this smaller. They want you to see the code more. Okay, first things first, we need to import useState. We have here React, we can also import it up here, curly brackets, useState. So we have access to useState now. And let's create here within the function, we're returning it. First of a const, and we're going to call the first one like the state, just as I did up here, and then we need something to set it, so set like when we are changing this. And we're going to use state here and set it default to false, just as I set it up here. Now this should give an error. I'm going to comment this out, and now it should work again. So if I would set this to true in the state, so just take a look at the heart down there, so true, then it's going to turn red. So let's set this back to false. And now we need some kind of action if I'm clicking on this to turn red. So let's create here a const and toggle like. Now I'm going to set this to an arrow function, just as I showed you in the previous. And now I'm going to check if like does not exist, then I'm going to set like to true. Else I'm going to set like to false. Okay, now let's take this toggle like and add it to our heart down here. So for the first state is our heart is in a outline, there it is, outline heart. Okay, so this is the state that it's in because it's set to false. So I'm going to add an event listener to this on click, and I'm going to set the toggle button to it. So basically, if I'm clicking now on this, it's going to turn red. But if I'm clicking the heart again, it's not turning back because now it has changed to this icon. So let's also add the event listener of onClick with the toggler on our red heart. And now if I click on the right heart, it's going to toggle our heart to the next icon. Let's also inspect this and then use the components. And let's go down to components. So let's look at icon, fill heart. And let's see, it has the function of toggle like on it as a prop. If I go on the icon itself, you can see that text is class danger. Okay, and you can also see the state here. Let me just make this a bit smaller, or actually larger. This one, don't need the component list. You can see the state here changing, so false and true. Okay, now let's close this up and let's take care of our likes up here. For this, I'm just going to create another const, another useState. And I'm going to call this count, and this one will be set count. Again, we're going to use useState. And what is this going to do? Well, each time we like it, it should add a number here. Now, because our state is at its beginning at 0, we're going to pass in here 0. Then we're going to use our count instead of likes down here. I'm going to change the quotation marks to template literals. So I'm going to use backticks. Then I'm going to pass this in as a variable and likes count. Okay, and this is now 0. If I would change this to 1, it's going to change to 1 and back to 0. Now we don't want to change it here, we want to change it on a like. So the like is currently setting this to true, and we can also use the set count here to set our count plus 1. Basically, if we're liking something, then we're going to have 1 like. Now if we're disliking it, then it should remove this, and for this we're just going to copy this, add it down here, and I'm going to change this to a minus sign. So if I'm liking it, well, let's just refresh it because the state just added another one to it. So we had 0 likes. If I like it, you're going to have 1 like. If I dislike it, it's going to have 0 like. Now obviously you can change this up to have multiple likes, just add to it, but this is not part of this project, so we're just going to leave it as it is. Also, what I wanted to add here is a shadow to the container, so shadow and MD. Okay, so it's a bit, that's too much. Let's do it SM, shadow SM, and there we go. Just a bit of a shadow to the card. Okay, so that's pretty much it for the project. Hope you enjoyed it. Let's just take a look at this again. Like the dog. Oh, double click. We forgot to double click. Okay, so we have our likes. We can like it here, but I also want to click the image and be able to like it. So double click it. So for this, I'm going to add a event listener to the card itself. can go to the div of card and add here a on double click, and just use the same function that we did up here, toggle like. So if I pass this in here, oh, not on the footer, sorry about that, but on the card up here. So now if I click the card, it's going to like and dislike my photo, but you need to double click it. Okay, and actually you could also add it to the image only. It's only if you click the image, where's the image? There's the image. Only then the like will be toggled. Okay, so that's it for the project. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you liked this little doggy dog. And especially I hope you learned a lot.